Okay, so I think you guys should have gotten like a notification or something that's being recorded. If once again, if anybody doesn't want to, just click no. Um, so this is going to be, I have like notes up here pretty much, like a prompt that I'm going to be reading off just for the sake of concision so that, you know, we don't go for like an entire hour. Because once again, this is a crash course. I don't want to bore anybody, but I also want to make sure you get the information like concisely and effectively. So here we go. So firstly, good morning, everybody. My name is Chris. For those of you, I don't think I know anybody who's in here just by name alone. So my name is Chris. I am a peer advisor in our START office. Today, obviously, we're going to be talking about choosing a major, and we're going to go through some helpful resources that are at your disposal throughout your time here at UM-Dearborn. If at any point anybody has questions, like I said before, just feel free to ask and we will go through them. I'll also make sure to include time at the end for additional questions if any of you have any. Let's get started. Okay, the undecided major. So the undecided major is actually, now I didn't know this, but it is the second largest major among incoming students. Students are encouraged to explore their interests in order to find the right program for them. So we are now going to talk about several ways in which you can go about exploring your interests to find the right major for you. And even if you have chosen a major, these resources that I'm about to go through will benefit you still. So here are some resources. EXPS 102, once again, something that I myself didn't know about until making this presentation, is a one-credit career exploration course that provides students opportunities to learn and develop career readiness skills. Our Career Services Office is where you can go to meet with trained career service advisors to assess interests. Students also have access to free career and personality assessments to find the right path for you. Volunteer experiences allow students to explore interests in a variety of fields while receiving professional skills and guidance. Not to mention, of course, that it looks great on a resume and it helps the community. Like volunteer work, internships and co-ops provide students with professional work experiences in a variety of fields in order to gain exposure. To find an internship or co-op opportunity, contact your college's internship office or speak with a professor who can provide you or connect you with resources. Internships and co-ops are great ways to round out your resume and gain real-life experience that can be one of the final tests to determine whether or not you actually want to do what you're going to school for before you start working full-time in the field. Does anybody have any questions about any of these four things before we move on that I could elaborate on for you?
No, I'm good with it.
Awesome. Okay, then we will continue. Okay, now this is beneficial to anybody. So if you've already chosen a major, great, you can still learn from this. If you haven't chosen a major, great also, because this will help you. The Undergraduate Catalog lists all of the majors and minors that students can pursue at the university, while also listing degree requirements. So that last part's important there. So even if you've already chosen a major, so we had a question earlier about biochemistry. This catalog lists degree requirements for each major. So if you go in, and all this stuff, I should mention, all these resources are available on the school website, or contact information for them is available on the school website. It's all there. I did double check all this stuff last night to make sure that I wasn't telling you about resources that we don't have. We do actually have all this stuff, and it's on the school website. You just search it and it'll pop right up. So with specific majors, it provides you degree requirements. Additionally, your advisors are here to help you understand your academic progress. They can help make sure that you are making progress toward your desired major, in addition to being a potential source, honestly, of just stress relief during what can sometimes be an overwhelming world of college, especially these days. Your advisors are here to help you, so let them. Any questions about the undergrad catalog or academic advising? I could talk about specific college advising offices if you want. I could talk more about the catalog. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Once again, all this stuff is on the website, and students are encouraged to check that out in addition to this, obviously. But if anybody has any questions right now, we can go through them. All right, I will assume now. Next slide. Making the change. So this is if you want to change your major or minor. All students must submit the change of degree form to update their major or minor. You can start the form online as well or request it from our Start Advising office, which is the office I work for. This form can also be used to declare concentrations or teaching certificates. Once filled out, you can return the form to your advisor for processing. Once you change your major, it is recommended that you meet with an academic advisor to work on your new academic plan. Once again, this form is on the website. I double checked that as well. You can find it, I believe it's through the Castle Advising site, but once again, if you just search change of degree form in the search bar, it'll be like the first thing that pops up. I personally, as a student, I haven't changed my major, but I have changed my minors several times, and it's a very simple form, very self-explanatory. Any questions on where to find it, who to give it to, anything like that? Okay, moving on. So this is actually our last slide, but I will spend a second on it. And I just want to say this to conclude. Allow yourself to be happy in college. People don't think about this when they pick majors. They really do not. There are many reasons to pick a major, but there are also many reasons not to pick a major. For example, don't just pick something because your friends or family might want you to. Pick what you want. It's your career on the line. Tailor your academic experience to fit your needs and your wants by taking advantage of the resources available to you. After all, you're paying for your tuition, and while these resources are quote unquote free, they're all built into that tuition. That's why they're all free, because you've already paid for them. So you might as well use them. If anybody has any questions, once again, feel free to let me know. Just a little note, a personal experience that I will share for the sake of making our crash course here a little more personable, is that as a student, I'm a senior myself, and over the last 3 years, I have made sure to, at the beginning of every year, tell myself, Chris, you got to make sure that you are taking your academics seriously. Of course, that has to be a priority, but at the same time, don't let your mental health suffer. This is college. This is not boot camp. You don't have to torture yourself over homework or exams. And I see students who totally sacrifice their social lives, their personal lives, everything for the pursuit of a degree. Now, if you are the kind of person who can handle that, then great. Only do what you can handle, but don't do what other people think you can handle or what you wish you could handle. Be real with yourself. Don't choose a major because somebody else wants you to. Don't choose a major because the career that major is going to give you will be lucrative. If money is your goal, then obviously do that, but don't just do it for the money. Do it because you want to. It's your life. Do what you want with it. There's no reason that the administration or friends or family or anybody else there could possibly be should dictate where you want to go. Because if you think about it, you've all been through high school. You've had 12 years of structured education up until this point, like 12 years, which is more than half of our lives, has been in school. you should be able to choose what you want to do. So choose wisely, but at the same time, you get more than one choice. You know, it's not like once you pick your major, that's it and you're done. You're stuck with that. You can change it at any point. You can change your minor, you can add concentrations, you can make it like totally customized. You can look for internships, co-ops. If you're wondering what the difference is between those two, I'm not totally sure. I think co-ops are more often paid than internships are. I think that's a difference. But the overall point of this conclusion here is to be happy. You know, that's something that not enough presentations, especially on college campuses, include. I myself have been to several presentations, seminars, stuff that just sit there. They'll talk at you. They won't ask if you have any questions. They'll just tell you stuff, and it won't be personal. It's just sort of, you know, read off a screen. And I know I read all this stuff off my prompt, but I wanted to make sure to include this personal segment here at the end so that this is not seen as a lecture, you know. But I hope that at least something that I said throughout this presentation sticks with you guys. I hope that you learned about resources. If you have any questions, we will go through them now. I can totally, you know, answer, or at least try to answer, I should say, any questions you might have. If you have any questions that weren't covered in the presentation and you think of them afterwards, after we're done here, then feel free to email the peer advising email, which can also be found on the website. Just type in peer advisors and it'll pop right up. And we'll get back to you. We work every day, so, you know, give us one day at least to respond and we'll get back to you. But that all being said, does anybody have any questions, anything I can go over more in depth, anything you want to know more about that just wasn't in here? How are we feeling?
For the minor, for choosing your minor,
Yeah.
is that in degree works where we can figure out with the credits that we already have what the best minor is for us? Because I know we can do that, like just play around and see about our major, but I didn't know if we could do that for our minor.
DegreeWorks does do that with a minor. So if you go into like the what if worksheet on DegreeWorks, you can plug in a minor there too. And I think you can actually just do a minor. So like you don't have to change anything else if you want to keep your current major, current, you know, classes, everything else, and just add a minor. It'll show you what your current credits will get you toward that minor, if any. And yeah, for me personally, I'm a psych major and I have a sociology minor, but I didn't declare that minor until the start of my junior year. So at that point, I had already taken so many psych courses that some of them actually did count towards that sociology minor. And I discovered that when I went into DegreeWorks and plugged it in. So yes, to answer your question, you can definitely do that.
Thank you.
Anything else from anybody?
Regarding the one credit course, is there any, like, can you talk a little more about that? I don't know if you already did. I don't know if I missed that, but
yeah, no, I can talk more about it. So I don't actually know that much about it, but here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to stop showing my screen. Okay. You guys can't see my screen anymore, can you?
no, we can't.
Okay. I'm just going to go on the website and actually look up more information about it, like right now, and then I'm going to tell you about it because I want to learn more about this myself also so that I can better explain it to people. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Okay, let this be a learning example here, everybody. On the website, there is a course catalog. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this. I know we talked about the undergrad catalog that discusses majors and minors, but there's also a course catalog that has specific classes. So you can see specific courses and I believe specific course descriptions. So that's actually where I'm going to go and look for this. Yep, it's so easy. I literally just pulled it up. Okay, let's look for EXPS. EXPS, by the way, stands for exploratory studies, if you were wondering. So this is very interesting. So I'm looking at all this. I think I might actually share my screen again because I want you guys to see this. Okay. I did not know about all this stuff. All right, let's go back to Zoom. Let's share my screen. Oh, my face just got sort of dark. Okay. Okay, can you guys all see this?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so this is the whole page on exploratory studies. This is the school website. Literally all I did was just go up here, type in EXPS 102, you know, something very specific that might not have even garnered any results. But then it led me to the course catalog and I was able to figure it out literally in like less than a minute just here. So if I can do it, I'm sure you guys can. So there are actually a lot of exploratory classes that I did not know about. So EXPS 102, I don't see on here, but this page was updated for the 2020-2021 year. So given that everything is online, it is my guess that they took away 102 for at least this year. However, it appears there are a bunch more, which might actually be better. So just looking at the first one I see, topics in exploratory studies. You know, if we read it, an examination at the freshman and sophomore level in the selected areas of general study. The title as listed in the schedule of classes may change according to content. Course may be repeated for credit when specific topics differ. So that's great. You know, that sounds exactly like what EXPS 102 was. And like it just said, the course title might change depending. So maybe, you know, it already changed. This presentation was made last winter, so it might have changed in that time. That sounds like, honestly, a great class if you're undecided. And I think the university honestly should advertise this more because this looks great. And then we have more specific ones, science in elementary school, elementary education, visual and performance arts, inclusion and cultural immersion. This would be good, like if you're leaning towards sociology or psych or anything like that, or public health, that would be a good one to take, I feel. History, geography, writing, communication, teaching and learning. Oh, see, now let's pay attention here. Teaching and learning internship. Now, this class itself, I'm sure is not the internship itself. Like you can't just sign up for the class and then, you know, you have an internship. But for most internships, there is actually a corresponding class that you have to take while you're working at the internship. So if any of you are prospective teachers, this might be something good to look into, especially if you guys are all freshmen and you have time, you know, to inquire. We have a math and science one, multicultural in schools, and I'm assuming that's sociology. Actually, that's probably society. Evolution for teachers, science capstone. Okay, capstones. Let me just say a quick thing about capstones because they do differ with each major. So those are something that you want to take careful attention to as you continue your academic career. Personally, as a psych major, my capstone, I didn't even recognize what my psych capstone was. So I was lucky because I had actually already taken it as a class. But I know for other majors, there are different requirements for capstones. So for example, science majors might have a capstone that includes a lab with, you know, outside extra work or whatever. I'm not totally sure. I know for psych, it was just one class, no lab, just a simple thing that, went right above my head and I didn't even realize. But for your capstone, go on DegreeWorks. It'll tell you what your capstone is, based on your major, or what list of classes you can choose from to satisfy your capstone. And I highly recommend that you take a look at that and plan your schedule for it. More classes here: family, school, community collaboration, issues in STEM. This is a good one for education majors, people who want to be teachers. Another capstone course. This one looks like it'd be cool, in my opinion, for CECS majors. You want to be a software engineer, anything like that. I know a friend who would really do well from having this class. Writing. I don't know what this one is, but this one does look interesting too. And then you can see different restrictions for each of these. So like any of these that have, FWS, they're offered fall, winter, summer, or fall, winter, spring. I believe S is summer, yeah. So that's another thing that you guys have to pay attention to also when you're picking classes, is that some of these just might not be offered in the winter. I know more classes are offered in the fall than are offered in the winter. So that's something that you guys are going to want to pay attention to, just so that you don't get stuck, halfway through your junior year and realize that you don't have the credits you need to graduate, but that they've just discontinued a course or something like that. You don't want to be stuck in a position and not know what you're doing. So always try and come out on top, ahead of the game. Registration, by the way, if everybody here is a freshman, I'm assuming so. We invited everybody, but we only sent invitations to freshmen, I believe. Obviously anybody can be here, but the reason I say that is because registration, for those who don't know, for freshmen opens, I believe, on December 2nd this year. So mark that day in your calendars. Another recommendation for mine, this doesn't really have to do with majors, but just another friendly tip from a student, is that registration fills up fast. And as freshmen, unfortunately, you guys are the last in the list to register because it's based on seniority. So you might not get all the classes that you want next semester, but if you can't get all the classes that you want, then get some that you need, until finally you can have them all that you want. As a senior, just a little personal anecdote here, I obviously have gone through 3 years of school before this at UM-Dearborn, and consistently there have been semesters where I have not been able to get into classes that I want to because my seniority prevented me from being the first to register. But now as a senior, next semester is going to be my last semester here, and I now am at the top of the line to register. So I can take, this semester, I was able to take classes that I wanted. Next semester, presumably I'll be able to do the same. And let me tell you from experience that it's worth waiting for. Take what you need before you can take what you want. And then once it gets down to it, and all you're taking is what you want, it'll be so much easier. That's my personal recommendation. But once again, don't forget, sprinkle in stuff that you want as you go along. Don't force yourself to do so much that you don't have to. I know I just went on a little tangent there, but I thought this was good to share. This looks like everything. And let me just point out this here on the side. Look at all this. These are all the courses, like literally all the courses. It's a huge list. So let's just pick on psych. Let's see what happens here. Yep, see, look at all of these courses. Oh my gosh, this is so nice. Like, I honestly didn't know that we had this until last year when I was a junior. And I wish I had known about this like freshman year so that I could just control F, which hopefully you all know. If not, use this information, Control F, and like search on the page for what I'm looking for. It would have been so much quicker to do it this way. And I love that it has, you know, the descriptions here. This is a great resource. Definitely take advantage of this. And I think I had clicked Castle. So, oh no, I think these are actually all of it. But I know you can go specific colleges somewhere down here. Yeah, okay. So Castle, I'm a Castle major. So this gives you information on the college, different degrees. Psych is a Bachelor of Arts. It is not considered a science. If any of you are psych majors, be aware that your degree is a BA, not, or an AB, but not a BS. Requirements, this is something good to look at if you're freshman also. What credit requirements does your major require for you to graduate? So mine is just 120, but I know some people with minors and certificates have to go a little bit above 120 because they waited until late in the game to add it or whatever it was. I can't totally remember like the specifics, but pay attention also to that. Don't just assume that it's 120 and then get to your senior year and realize it's 130, you know? Just pay attention to that as you go along. DDC courses, gen eds, general education courses, everybody needs them. And, oh, these are interesting. Oh, it lists all the foundation courses. So yeah, it pretty much goes through all the majors, the gen eds, stuff like this. And I think that's really all I have to say about this page. Now that I'm on the website, though, I might as well just show you guys this. If you go here in search bar, type in change of degree form, search. First thing that pops up, forms. Now this particular search has taken us to College Education, Health, and Human Services website. It doesn't matter where you get this from. So like I'm a Castle major, so even though I'm on the CHES website, it doesn't matter because it's the same form, just in a different place. So we click on this. Can you guys see this, or are you still on the tab with the website?
We can see it.
Okay. This is what it looks like for those of you who haven't seen it. Very, very simple. Okay, let me get my Zoom screen sort of like out of my way so I can see it. Just basic information up here, and this is the bulk of it right here. What is your current degree program? So this is what I was saying before. If you're a psych major, we consistently have psych majors who will put BS because they think psych is science, which in my opinion, as a psych major, I think psych is science, but in academia, it is not recognized as science yet. So psych is a BA. Other things that are sort of ambiguous would be like public health. Is public health a science? I honestly probably couldn't answer that right now because I just don't know, but it does sort of get confusing. So look it up, you know, fill it out. And even if you fill out the wrong one, like your advisor will know because then you write your major down here. So if you were to write BS and then put psych, this wouldn't really matter because you put psych down here, if that makes sense. So you put your current stuff. If you don't have a minor, then you don't fill it out, obviously. And then you put what you want. So if you want to declare a major, declare a minor, that is where that goes. Same thing here, your desired degree program. Now dual degree, I will just explain this a little bit. This does not mean that you have double majors. So if anybody's thinking about double majoring, one, good for you because that's a lot of work, but two, That is not what dual degree means. Double majoring means you have one degree with two majors. So obviously that distinguishes you, but a dual degree means you're simultaneously going for two degrees. So more often than not, like 9 times out of 10, you'll check no, unless you know for certain that you actually are going for two separate degrees, in which case you'll put yes. Teacher certification. So if any of you want to be teachers, this is where you fill it out. Concentrations, this is where you fill it out. You just write in what you want your concentration to be. And specific programs have different concentrations. So like, it's my understanding that you can't just write anything, like I think CECS people have a list of concentrations that they can choose from. So for example, I know somebody who's a computer science major with a concentration in software development, I think is one of them. But he wouldn't be a CECS major with a concentration in, I don't know, biochemistry or something like that. Those two just don't match. At that point, it would be declaring a minor, because you don't concentrate on biochem in computer science, if that makes sense. So do your research, look at your degree stuff, look at your options, talk with an advisor, figure out what's best for you. Personally, I'm going to be speaking with my advisor here in the coming weeks because I want to start thinking about, after college. I mean, I have thought about what I'm going to do after, but I want to start actually connecting myself to people. So, like I said before, always stay ahead of the game with it. And then the rest of the form is to be completed by the college. So you don't have to fill out any of this stuff. And then what happens is you send this form to your advisor. If you are all START students, then you will send it to the START advising office, or your advisor, like wherever. If you send it to the office, we'll just send it to the advisor. So it doesn't matter as long as it gets to the office somehow. And they will process it, and then you'll get an email once it is approved, and it'll be all set. I don't know how long it usually takes. Back when it was in person, it would take maybe a couple days. Might take longer now that it's online. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, that's pretty much that with the change of degree form. Okay. Sorry, I know that sort of like went a little while, but I hope you guys found that educational, I guess. Did that answer the original question about EXPS?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I
Okay.
learned a lot from that.
Okay, good.
And also just one quick last question.
Yeah.
You briefly mentioned that you want to like speak with an advisor regarding like after you graduate and your possible career choices and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other resources? Because that's like my main concern right now. Like that from like before choosing a major, I'm just thinking of like what to do after, if you know what I mean. So.
Right. Let me ask, are you a freshman?
Well, this technically should be my freshman year, but like I'm coming in with credits.
Okay.
I'm being considered a junior.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. So you're closer to graduating than typical freshman.
Yeah, and I'm still undecided, which is
Gotcha.
frustrating.
Gotcha. Well, let me throw this out there as one thing. It is not a bad thing to be undecided later in the game, in your second act here. It's not a bad thing at all. People will stigmatize that, like, oh, they don't know what they want to do. No, it's your thing. Better to wait and make the right decision for you than to rush a choice and do wrong. That's my personal advice for this. But in terms of like practical resources, yes. Once again, there's the Career Services Office, which can be found on the website also. Let's do a quick look for that. I won't go like in depth because I want to actually, answer your question here. But the Career Services Office is very beneficial. I totally plan on utilizing their service here shortly. there is contact information, job and internship prep. Actually, now that I think about it, I have used their stuff before. If you're looking for internships, that's another resource for you. You know, the university connects you with internships outside the university. So for example, I myself was the teaching assistant for the psychology internship program last semester. And my job was to connect students to internships. So I had like 30 students last year that I got internships, I got them interviews, I contacted people, and there are people at the university to help you with that. So when you think about what you want to do after college, think about internships, you know, before. So like you're technically a junior by credit already. So once you pick a major, you might want to get experience, you know, or look for something volunteer experience too before you pick a major, you know, sort of dabble in things and help yourself choose. Um, Career services, it's my understanding that you can utilize them at any time. So even if you don't have a major declared, you can go to them and tell them that, you know, hey, I don't have a declared major. I'm sort of concerned. I'm not totally sure what I want to do after college. Can you help me? They will connect you with resources. They have a bunch of stuff, even on the website for you. Obviously, you'll get more out of speaking with somebody, but they can definitely help you. Okay, what did I just say? Career services, internships, volunteer experiences. Oh, the major catalog. So I know we went through the course catalog, but let's take a look at the major catalog because I feel like, you know, we're talking about majors, so I should probably show you that. Undergraduate catalog. Oh, we did go through this already. Okay, so first pick a college. So let's just say Castle, for example. If you have, you know, absolutely no idea, then go through them all. But going down here, looking at all the majors, you can see them all here, and then you can search them too. So let's say you want to do art history. You're thinking, oh, okay, that looks pretty fascinating. Let's try it. You then go and search it. You go on the Castle website. It shows you all the degree requirements. You go on DegreeWorks. You can figure out like what ifs, you know, and it will, I'm sorry, I got a chat, so I'm going to read that in a second. Go on the website of the university. It'll show you all the requirements for it, and then you can determine, do I actually want to do this? So not to bore you with another personal example, but I declared 2 minors last year, sociology and social work. However, like I said in the presentation, it's a good idea to meet with an advisor before you declare anything, which I did, thankfully, because the social work minor had actually changed the requirements for it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, so I met with my advisor and I was like, hey, I'm not totally sure I want to do this. Could you advise me? We went through and they had actually changed the requirements, but did not update DegreeWorks. So it was confusing, but it helped make up my mind. So I ended up not declaring that minor because what had happened was they required an internship for the minor, which as a senior, I did not want to do a second internship in addition to the first one that I did last year for my major, just for a minor. So you can even take courses without declaring, you know, a major or minor. Explore. I'm still taking social work courses because I find it fascinating and I think it'll help distinguish my resume with my academic experience, but you don't have to necessarily declare anything. Okay, I'm trying to think of other possible resources. How are we feeling so far? Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Um, okay, let me go through and just sort of skim this chat real quick. I want to make sure I'm not leaving anybody out.
I want to pop in real quick. I'm sorry, I'm super late, but I want to introduce myself to everybody and also give Chris a round of applause for the great job that he's been doing so far. I'm Allie, and I'm an academic advisor in the START office, and just wanted to say hello. And I know I put a few links in the chat. Also, on my lap right now. But yeah, feel free to reach out to START advisors if you have questions about exploring a major. My biggest advice that I wanted to pass along before I head to my next meeting was your future career will probably change over time. The best thing that you can do while you're in college when you're deciding on a major is to study something that you enjoy. Chances are your career will figure itself out by the time you get to the point where you need to job search. And so for now, just study something that you love. You're paying a lot of money, might as well enjoy yourself. So I'm sure, Chris, based on what you've been saying, you'd probably agree with that too.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say for myself, I'm not a psychologist, but I studied psychology and I'm so glad that I did. So again, explore, be in touch with your advisor, and use your resources.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Allie. It's funny, I was looking for you in the meeting because I thought like you might pop in at some point, and my screen was minimized. So I actually thought people were leaving before I realized there was a second page of people. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm talking to like double the people here. But I'm glad you were able to make it. Thank you for that input. To read one of the chats, somebody messaged me privately. So the question was, for a lot of transfer classes, a certain class, for instance, at U of M Ann Arbor, did not accept transfer credits if it was taken online. That was the case until the pandemic happened. My question is this: do you know when the Ann Arbor campus will remove that exemption? No, I do not. Personally, I think that would be a question for Ann Arbor. I don't know what Ann Arbor's policy is. I don't know if you could find that information on their website at all. I don't go on Ann Arbor's website that much. But if you had previously attended Ann Arbor, which is sort of what I'm understanding, or if you're transferring to Ann Arbor, that is, contact somebody. Transferring to a college is not a contactless process. So at some point along the way, you will be talking to somebody from admissions or enrollment services or whoever in your transfer process. I would say just talk with somebody there. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Was the question answered in the chat? I think it was. So just to read it aloud to anybody who's not looking at it, the information is available from the department head at LSA, which is the equivalent to Castle here. I am familiar with their LSA, and thank you for answering that, because I didn't know, but that's good. So I hope that that's beneficial to anybody who's considering transferring or who has already transferred, whatever your case may be. Any other questions while we're here?
You mentioned that the registration, it starts or ends on like December 2nd for freshmen. What was
Right.
it for juniors?
I'm sorry, say that last part again.
What was it? What was the date for juniors?
Okay, so can you guys still see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I am going to show you where this information is because it's different for everybody. So once again, going to the website, if you type in registration timetable, oh, Allie just sent a link in the chat. That's perfect. So for everybody who can see the chat, copy that link, keep it for yourself. That's how you go to find it. So that link is where I'm going right now, just to show you all. So here we go. This is the calendar. It's based, once again, on seniority, and seniority is determined through credits, not through class standing. So for example, I am a senior. This is my 4th year, but if I only, if I'd only gone half time this whole time, I wouldn't be considered a senior. I'd be considered a sophomore by credits, if that makes sense. So I couldn't register until later on. So this is how it starts, or I should say how it is laid out. So going down here, a lot of people come before even myself. So I can't register until November 11th because all these people come before, which makes sense. Now, going down to juniors, there are 4 different days that it could open for juniors, depending on your credits. So once you go and evaluate for yourself how many credits you have, this will be your day. So pay attention to that. And this, I should mention, is applied credits. I do not believe it counts in progress credits. So if you're taking, if you came in here with 40 credits and you're taking 12 right now, it doesn't count 52. It'll count 40. Because your credits aren't technically applied until you pass the course. So it is everything, not including what's in progress. I know some people get confused with that. I got confused with it when I was a freshman because I myself came in with credits and I thought I could register earlier, but actually no. So yes, this is very helpful. And I hope that answered the question. And like I said, Allie put that in the chat. So copy that link, keep it for yourself. It's a good resource. Any other questions? Oh, we got one in the chat. Okay. Are those dates deadlines or does it have to be exactly on that day? No, it's just when it opens. So you just can't register until that day, if that makes sense. So like, for example, I'm looking at Tuesday, December 1st for sophomores between 25 and 39. You can't register until that day, but starting on December 1st, you can register. And you don't have to do it on that day, but classes fill up on a first come, first serve basis. So it's recommended that you do it as close to that day as possible. That's my personal recommendation as a student, but you don't actually have to do it on that day. There is an academic calendar somewhere that also on the website that you can find that talks about like last day to add and drop courses for a semester. So at that point, it's usually like 2 weeks into the semester, I believe is the last day to add or drop a course without any kind of penalty. And that would be, I guess, considered the end of the registration time. But really up until then, you can add or drop anything without penalty. These dates are just the beginning dates.
Okay. Thank you.
You are very
One more
welcome.
question. So, one more question. The meeting with the STAR advisor that is required. Is there like a specific website we have to go through the STAR advising? Can it just be or can it just be like the standard STAR advising? I'm not doing a good job of explaining this, but do you get what I mean?
I think so. So you can. I know the advisor sent out links via. It was either via Canvas or email or something last week where
Email, yes.
Okay, where students can schedule a meeting themselves with their advisor. So that's one way to go about scheduling a meeting. You could also go to the Start Advising website, which has contact information. You could call or email the phone number or email, and the person who is working the front desk, I am one of those people. So one of us could set you up with a meeting manually, or you can do it yourself. Whatever is most convenient for you. Did I understand that question right? Did I answer that?
Yes, you have it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Any other questions? Let me just say that you guys have been like by far the most involved group that I have spoken to. So thank you for your participation. I actually didn't think we'd go this long. I thought it would be, shorter, but these were all great questions. I'm glad you guys asked these questions, because for people who watch this recording, and once again, if anybody objects to being recorded, it's fine. I can just record a video like separately by myself without you guys in it. And that'll be that. No worries there. But regardless, these questions were good questions for other students, and I think people will benefit from listening to it. But I guess I should ask one last time, if there are any questions, hit me with them. I can totally, oh, I got a chat. Okay, let's see. Oh, but you're welcome. It was a thank you. You are very welcome.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
It's not really pertaining to this, but do you know if like there are still clubs right now?
There are.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I know they're all virtual, but I don't know the specifics for each club. I myself am not actively in any, but I have had that question before, and I do know of people who are in some that are currently running virtually, and yes, so it all sort of depends on the specific club, how they're handling it. But yeah.
I have an additional question. Do you know where there's a list of the clubs and the contact information for said clubs? Because there's a club I'm intended to join, but since the beginning of the semester was so crazy, I didn't get a chance to, and now I don't know how to reapply for club.
I think
Right.
Was the link just sent in chat?
The link was just sent in the chat. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, that is where you go. It's the Office of Student Life, and I'll just pull it up here real quick so that people can see what it looks like. I've got so many tabs open I can barely see. Okay, student organizations. There we are. These are very interesting. Okay, student organization directory. So this would be a list of all of the orgs. And then if contact information is not there, then if you search the individual club, which may itself have its own web page, then certainly there will be contact information there. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just reading this chat. The Michigan Journal. One of our other peer advisors writes for the Michigan Journal, actually, I believe. And he would have been great to have here. I don't know. Allie answered that I can't contribute any more than her answer. I myself don't know either, but yes. So here is where you go for all that information. Victor's link, actually, okay, I should talk about that. That has contact information for everybody. I've used Victor's link before. That has a directory of all the clubs. And there are a lot. There's like over 150 clubs, like at Dearborn itself, which you might not think because Dearborn's a small school, but yeah, there are a bunch. So do research, figure out what you want to do and go from there. Anything else? All right, well, it is 10:30, so we have been going we filled the hour, which is great. Honest to God, I think this is the first time I've actually filled the entire hour with not myself just talking. So this was great. Thank you all for your participation. On behalf of, myself and the other peer advisors, we thank you for your interest in this, and we hope that it was beneficial and that you can take away stuff from this. Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay. Oh, my face just went dark a little bit. Okay. Allie, any last thing before we head out?
The only other thing I think would just be for folks who are currently still in the room to keep a lookout for our November offerings for our crash courses. We're putting those together with registration in mind and looking at degree works and those types of topics. And if you also have any other ideas for crash courses that would really help you or other students you know, let us know. We're taking that feedback.
Alrighty, well, that should be all. And once again, this whole thing is recorded, so if you want to go back, go through it. Also, one last thing to mention. The presentation that I went through, the PowerPoint, or the Google Slides rather, that is the presentation. However, there is another version of those slides that I will post on the peer advising website. It won't look the same, but word for word, it is the exact same. And the only reason I used the Google Slides this time was so that I could read off the notes to make sure I got everything in there, because the other one is a PDF. So I will upload the prettier version in addition to this recording. So it will all be there. And just so you have the slides in case you don't want to watch, the whole hour presentation. But yeah, thank you all again. I really appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.